me what I don't know.
Tell me. You seem to know.
I wrestled Bob Backlund at the Spectrum.
Fratelloni's Hardware.
Bear femur.
I'm rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1258, March 4th, 2024. 61 degrees on this day in 1983 and in the year 2000. And it was 22 below on this day in 1873. And after the music, I have a note about ice outs.
Hail the Flashlight King.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your Flashlight King, Fireworks Commissioner, and the Keeper of Common Sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
There's been a fair number of May ice outs over the years. I doubt that we'll have any this year. And I would think the record is sure to be broken. The earliest ice out that I've been able to report from material provided by the Fresh Water Society is the earliest ice out has always been March 11, 1878 on Minnetonka. March 11, 1878. Last night I got a report. No follow-up today, but I got a report that White Bear, 2/3 of the western side of the lake was ice-free on March 3rd. I don't know if the remaining ice cover on the third of the lake survived the winds we had yesterday or not, but ice outs are going to be probably coming in soon. I had one here.
They are boating on Lake Minnetonka already.
That I did not know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chris Eggert tweeted yesterday.
Wow. Was the report on White Bear Lake from the same gentleman who asked you to come over and look at the village?
No, it was the other brother.
Okay.
What is this now? This guy, Marshall, wants me to note that Lake LaBelle has ice out. I'm only going to read this for one reason. Joe, I wanted to let you know that Lake LaBelle in Pickwick had the ice go out on Feb 29. It took a while for the shady part to melt. The lake is formed by a dam in the creek. He wrote creek.
Okay.
Put in place to provide power to the Pickwick Mill via the 20-foot diameter water wheel. Built from 1854 to 1858 using locally quarried limestone, it provided 100 barrels of flour per day for the Union Army during the Civil War. In 1907, a tornado took off the roof and top floor, and the mill shut down operations in 1978. In the 1980s, the local community, including my grandma Opal, banded together to restore the mill and keep it open as a museum. It's really a neat building to tour and often has classic car clubs stop on their drives. Thought I'd let you know, Marshall. I do know of it. I visited on a drive, only it was motorcycles, a motorcycle group, and not cars. So I'm familiar with the Pickwick Mill, southeastern Minnesota.
Okay.
And I can tell you that I'm not familiar with this lake that he's claiming is ice-free, Lake LaBelle. And in any event, do not send me ice outs.
Got it.
I won't.
It's a tradition like no other.
Yes, White Bear, Minnetonka ice outs. If you want to throw me Mille Lacs, that's fine.
Along those lines, I am seeing a couple of ice outs on some potholes around the area. The backwater is out. Horseshoe Dam is out. Andrews Pond is out.
I do have the sense winds from the Sierras.
Rice Pond is out. The Beaver Dam Pond is out.
Suchi Boy, just southeast of Winona.
I know where it is.
Oh,
I've
I thought
been
you
there.
said you were. Oh, I'm sorry.
I've been there. I think Joel O'Brien engineered that trip. I have the sense winds because I love them so from the Tahoe, Truckee area of California, where right now they're being inundated with snow. And of course, we're told that this is an example of our bringing havoc to our mother, the earth. In 1883 major storm periods, in January 1880, stacked 16 feet of snow on Donner Pass. I'll cut to the chase. In the list of the top 5 snowiest winters for the Truckee Tahoe region, and this is from the Sierra Sun newspaper, in December of 1894, the weather went gangbusters as relentless Pacific storm systems piled snow on the higher terrain. By the first day of winter, Truckee residents already shoveled 80 inches of snow, and the snowpack exceeded 10 feet in the Norden train station near Donner Pass.
Okay.
We all know why Donner Pass is famous. On Donner Pass, nearly 22 feet of snow fell in January of 1880, 22 feet, with a total moisture content of 25.8 inches of water, making it the second consecutive month with nearly 3 times normal precipitation. The months of December 1894 and January 1895 dumped more than 50 inches of precipitation, meaning Donner Summit was blasted with nearly a whole winter's worth of snow and rain in 8 weeks.
Wow.
And it goes on. We learn about 1950 and 51. I won't continue. You know the drill. What we're experiencing in the Sierras has all been experienced before, and will be again. 1938. At the end of January 1938, a barrage of cold storms blasted the high country with 12 feet of snow in less than a week. From then on, storms hit hard and fast, beginning a siege of extreme weather that lasted for 21 consecutive days. Tahoe City residents had 17 feet of new snow in 16 days. There were no mail deliveries to Tahoe City for more than a week.
You think?
No fresh food for twice that long. And so all you have to do is, look it up yourself. It's there. The history is important to understand for those insisting on telling us that this is all new. It's not all new, and it's been rather common out that way. I've been there. Been there.
You've been there. You seen it?
You get the sign up the high. You fly into Sacramento, and then you start just going like this. Up, till you finally reach a point where it says, chains necessary from this point on. Not in the summer, but in the winter, you'd stop there. You have to put on chains, and there's cutouts for you to pull in and put on the chains. But back in the day, I suppose that the horses had to stop there and the sleighs.
I've been there from Reno.
Yeah.
We took a day trip up there one day.
Yes, you in the back.
Some of the images and videos you're seeing surface from there, it's hard to put blame on a lot of people, but everyone knew this was coming, correct?
Sure, it happens all the time in that part of the world.
So when you see all these semis, that weren't they told by whoever was sending them that way? You might want to have a heads up.
I
Tell
am
their
surprised.
dispatchers that.
Yeah,
What Kenny?
That's dispatch. These guys are corporate drivers.
And I just want to note that I've got my shaming letter from XL Energy. I brought it with
got
me.
Mine this week.
That's for the month of December. The month of December at our
Mail
house.
a little slow at your house? Why
Well, no, that's when they come, I guess. I got it last week.
Oh.
I don't care when it came, Chris. It's the damn report for December.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And in December, we were home. Nothing changed. And in fact, in December, you would think maybe more electricity use, Christmas lights and the whole deal,
Light them up.
For sure. And I got a great. It's the first time ever in my life. My electricity use was 397 kilowatts. I was as great as efficient nearby homes. And similar nearby homes were twice that. Twice what I was doing.
These?
Yes. And my natural gas use was called fair.
Huh.
I used 232 therms.
Okay.
That was less than similar nearby homes.
See? You're telling everybody.
Do you celebrate said
Well,
achievement?
my point is, this is BS. They make this up. There's no rhyme or reason for this.
And you'll be,
And
go ahead.
Should they be comparing you to the Johnsons down the street?
Well, that's what they do. They try to shame you.
That's personal information.
Well, now, Have you surveyed the neighborhood, walked around with a clipboard and a calculator and a couple of number 2 pencils and canvassed the neighbors?
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
all right.
But
So
this is the first
your
time.
data is incomplete then.
Oh, this is XL's data, not mine.
Uh-huh.
This is the first
Okay.
time since I received a shaming letter that I passed.
Okay, if you say so.
It says fair and great. Your electricity use was great. Wouldn't that mean, don't they want to use a different word than great? I didn't have great electricity use. According to you, XL, I had modest electricity use.
Maybe they're just saying this to everybody because basically our energy prices have doubled in 2024.
That's what I was thinking. They're going to use this as an excuse to up
Yeah.
your cost.
And get this, nearby homes are defined as homes within 6 miles. So for 6 miles around,
Come on.
I had better electricity use than all the people in the 6 mile area.
Yeah.
6 square miles. What's the total on that?
That's a lot of houses.
That's a lot of miles.
Gee whiz.
Well, you'll be able to compare your March energy shaming letter in June when you get it then.
Let's get right to the statement from the St. Paul, from a shooting in St. Paul, the statement from the Ramsey County Sheriff. Last night, meaning Friday night, March 1st, a suspect shot at least 2 rounds from a rifle at a Ramsey County Sheriff's deputy who was hit by fragments. The officer was taken to the hospital, and thankfully there were no apparent serious injuries. Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association Executive Director Brian Peters said, "We're relieved that the officer wasn't killed. This once again illustrates the severe danger posed to law enforcement in their duties to keep communities safe. The increased violence against law enforcement is at a crisis level, a war on police in Minnesota." And I heard Sheriff Fletcher talking about it. This was over on the east side, Payne Avenue area. And a guy was a feral youth, was leaning out the window of a car and firing at a sheriff's deputy.
Yikes. That's pretty bold.
That's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Firing at a sheriff's deputy with a military style weapon.
Yeah, that scares the hell out of me.
One bullet hit the hood of his car and glanced off and didn't hit the deputy. One hit him in his in the part of his vest.
That was shrapnel.
Shrapnel
that
hit him in part of his vest, and he
Yeah.
thankfully had the vest on,
Yeah, right.
and he was not injured seriously.
You're saying Euclid. Where's that at, Joe?
That's a street on the east side that probably intersects Payne Avenue.
EUCLID.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let's turn to Minneapolis. Arrests have been made of 9 feral youth in the 2 robbery sprees in Minneapolis. 9 juveniles have been charged in connection with a string of 30 armed robberies across Minneapolis over a 5-day period in early Feb, followed by another rash of robberies in the city last weekend, the weekend of Feb 24 and 25. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarity announced that charging decisions Friday in a video statement, explaining how her office handled the cases and helped Minneapolis police in identifying and charging the youth involved. Police referred a dozen juveniles to Mary Moriality's office for possible charges. Now, let's stop right there. This is right in Mary's wheelhouse. These are the young people that presumably Mary intends to give second chances to or steer them to some sort of rehabilitation programs. She's loath to prosecute these young people. Now, she's claiming she's looking at this for charges.
Yeah.
The word is possible charges. But I think if you read between the lines of her quotes, I think you get an indication of what might happen. For example, she's quoted, this is in Saturday Star Tribune. If we are brought cases with proof where youth are committing violent crimes, we will charge them and hold them accountable. Okay, then you have to wonder, well, I wonder what proof she needs.
Okay.
Minneapolis police believe the first onslaught of robberies were committed by youth who had stolen a car or cars. The agency referred 5 cases and 4 minors. But Moriarity said none of the youth were charged for the robberies that occurred. Quote, it's important to understand that simply because a youth may be found in a stolen car does not mean that we can prove that they stole the car.
Oh my God.
It also doesn't mean that they were in the car at the time it was used to commit a robbery, she said. So as far as Mary's concerned,
Wow.
if you were picked up and you were in the stolen car, you might have just been picked up after you got off at the barbershop or
Stolen?
something.
I
Didn't know this was stolen.
Whoa.
2 supervisors at Moriarty's office poured over 30 police reports to identify patterns. When the next rash of robberies hit the city, Feb 25, police referred 7 cases and prosecutors charged 5. Moriarty said the 7 kids were not involved in any of the previous robbery cases. I don't know how she knows it.
Right.
Knows that. Police Chief O'Hara said in a statement Friday that while it's disappointing when cases referred to prosecutors are not charged, he appreciates the partnership between the county attorney's office and the police investigators. I continue to be proud of the great police work our officers and investigators do around the clock to address the recent rash of robberies committed by juvenile offenders, O'Hara said. Let me turn here. I think O'Hara is probably saying what he has to say.
Right.
Investigators continue to work around the clock to identify all of the different juveniles involved in collecting evidence to build cases. I am confident the MPD strategy is working. I'm also confident we will continue to make more arrests and present more cases for charging. And of course, we're not going to name these because they're juveniles. One of the robbery cases is non-public because the juvenile is under 16. Another case is non-public because it did not result in felony level offense. That juvenile was over 16 with charged with fleeing on foot. Maybe Mary thought he heard a scary noise and just ran for some reason. A misdemeanor offense under state statute, a delinquency or extended jurisdiction juvenile case is public if the person is at least 16 and the offense is a felony. Okay, so where are we? The police have rounded up 9 of these characters. How many will ultimately get charged, prosecuted, and jailed is not a certain bet at all.
Right.
Not a certain bet at all. So, and she warned the voters, this is her life's view, this is her ideology. She warned the voters of that. They knew what they were getting when they voted for her. Police responded to a carjacking at gunpoint, Feb 9, on East Lake of the Isles Parkway. The victim said she was sitting in the driver's seat of a rental car around 9 p.m. when 3 males approached her. One shattered her window and another pushed a gun against her arm and told her to get out or else he would shoot. They pulled her from the vehicle and fled. Okay, they should be charged. Later that night, police spotted another stolen vehicle that was being trailed by the BMW. That's the first car that was stolen. It was a BMW rental car. Later that night, police spotted another stolen vehicle that was being trailed by the BMW. Officers initiated a pursuit, and the BMW crashed into 2 unoccupied cars.
Of course.
Because, again, these kids don't know how to drive. 2 males fled through the alley between Irving and Humboldt Avenues. Officers searched the area and found a suspect hiding.
Where was his hiding spot, I wonder?
I don't know. Upon arrest, police recovered a handgun on a 17-year-old from Brooklyn Park. The teenager was charged with felony gun possession, fleeing on foot, and riding in a stolen vehicle. Well, just because he was riding in the stolen vehicle,
Did he know it was
do
stolen?
we know that he knew it was stolen?
I don't think
That's what Mary's asking. Yes.
I hate to be the, I don't know, pain in your ass here, but what she's saying is what any public defender or defense lawyer would bring up in court and successfully argue. You realize that, right?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, she's just acknowledging what's going to happen in court.
Mm-hmm.
If it's preventing those kids from having their day in court, then I disagree. I believe you should at least try. But I had to get that off my chest.
Well, I think we need to keep. I hope the Star Tribune stays on this. What we need to know is what will happen here. Will they get prosecuted? Will they go to trial? I'm betting they won't.
Yeah,
I would take that bet.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from her is that she's not going to try to prosecute any of these cases due to lack of evidence.
Even though the police
Right.
are saying, oh, look, we
Yeah.
worked day and night to come up with the evidence.
Yeah.
And it's evidence she might reject.
Yeah.
Maybe